Ladies and gentlemen, the final match of WhiteRa versus DIMAGA, with these guys currently 1 apiece, and I have no idea who's going to win this.
I don't know. WhiteRa's come out a lot different than he did yesterday and is playing very well here. On the other hand, DIMAGA is so consistent with his results and has been for a long time within Starcraft 2, not really winning that much aside from Assembly Summer. He's always up there with everybody else, and he is capable of taking this series down, just like WhiteRa was capable of beating it earlier.
Yeah, WhiteRa showing an entirely different style of play as he did in Day 2. He showed fantastic play in Day 1 as well with that ridiculous comeback against Ret, which was a story in and of itself. The question is, will he be able to take another match? That would be a wonderful result for that particular Ukrainian. One way or the other, Ukraine's getting a bit of cash today, and it is my pleasure to bring you Thermaltake Esports WhiteRa. He is in the red trunks playing Protoss to the west of the Terminus SC versus his opponent, MTW Mine Factory's DIMAGA. He is in the blue trunks playing Zerg to the east.
Yeah, that's DIMAGA's style is very, very passive in the early stages of the game. Doesn't really get that aggressive unless he sees a huge opening. But what he does is drone up to a decent count and then all of a sudden turns on the heat. And that's when it starts to get a little bit sticky for Protoss players, because DIMAGA will not let you take a 3rd base easily or not let you take a 4th base either. On the other hand, WhiteRa, nobody can predict this guy. He just does so many crazy things which seem to work. And we'll have to see what will work on this map. And potentially you could even see Mutalisk come out here, though they are cross-positioned, so it might not work out so well for DIMAGA, taking a long time to get there. On the other hand, we do have that pylon down, and probably just going to go... WhiteRa really isn't the person to go Nexus first. He really prefers to go for a later Forge if he is going to be greedy.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me to see some kind of War Prism harassment on this map from WhiteRa. We've seen it earlier. It works extremely well, and Mutalisk's perhaps required to shut that down. But still, you're talking about a massive, massive map whereby it's not possible to cover all areas, especially once you expand to try and take your 4th. So it can be risky. We'll see how greedy WhiteRa decides to get. He is going to go Forge, as you said. Delaying it slightly, it does give him a little bit of a boost in terms of the mining probes, but it is not crazy risky like, say, going Nexus first. It's a little safer, but still greedy at the same time. But
right now, we are going to have a bit of a cannon rush here from WhiteRa, realizing this is Hatch first, and the spawning pool does go down on 15 after that, and he gets into a really nice location, though. But the thing is, what that drone will try to do as much damage to that probe as possible. Is he going to do it, though? I mean, he can be faking out, but I think he is. Look at all these drones being pulled off. He cannot lose that probe, and he does move out just a little bit here.
Yeah, DIMAGA has split those drones up in an effort to try and catch him. He wasn't able to place that one down there. Tries to go for it, and then, oh, there we go, sneaking out of there. 2 drones, not enough to kill a photon cannon, but he does manage to get 2 more around the back, forcing the cancel there. Nicely defended thus far by DIMAGA.
Yeah, really nice play there from DIMAGA, but he's been pulled off from mining for a very long time, which has slowed him down, and immediately WhiteRa, knowing that, all right, let's do this, you're going to defend it, and he has thrown down the Nexus behind this, so he's going to have quite a decent economy for not really losing that much. I mean, he only cancelled a single pylon and a single cannon here, while DIMAGA was not mining for quite a long time with all those drones.
Yeah, it's not all that risky considering if he'd actually lost the cannon or pylon, sure, then he's going to end up losing the pylon eventually. So he's got to remember that. We have seen situations where blocks have happened as a result of placing that forward pylon. Whatever the case, WhiteRa now securing his Nexus, looking really solid and stable. No possibility of aggression from DIMAGA as of yet, only 4 links. And there is that supply block that I was talking about right there, which is going to delay probe production for a little while.
Yeah, the one thing, though, about that pylon on the... When you do this as a Protoss player, that one single pylon there actually allows you to continue probe production, because you're not building that second pylon inside your base, you're using it there. So it kind of helps out in that regard as well. And look at this at the same time. We have WhiteRa throwing down a 5-minute 3rd place. The greedy Papa is now playing that greedy style once again. And DIMAGA's not going to... Well, he does actually have an overload at the south location and has spotted it already. And this is it now. The probe is trying to scout the 3rd base, actually looking over here, and is not going to get any scouting information whatsoever. Does DIMAGA try to play macro, or will he try to bust this down?
Well, there's your answer. He's going to go for the third base immediately, but of course that doesn't mean that he's not going to get aggressive later on. Wants to try and match his opponent at least base for base. Would be terrible to be one base down there, especially when he doesn't really have the capability to get aggressive. He doesn't have what he needs. He has delayed gas for a very long time, still hasn't taken any of it, so he's not really going to have anything other than harsh language to throw at WhiteRa for the moment. And we know that DIMAGA's far too mana for that.
And Idra must be having flashbacks right now of this game. Maybe he should take some notes on WhiteRa or possibly DIMAGA's play here to see how to play against this fast.
I wish I could have got a photo of that. I wish, God, I could have sold that. Oh, man. Whatever the case. That breaks the flow of casting, man. You do this. You're just trolling now. You're not taking this seriously. Whatever the case, greedy DIMAGA. Very greedy. Going for his fourth base over here. Simply doesn't want to be on the same number of bases as WhiteRa. You can hardly blame him for that one.
And just looking at the Zealot has not scouted this fourth base up at the north location. And that will be the location for DIMAGA to take that, instead of the center of the map, which Idra did before. And we do have a lot of Chrono Boost going on. Idra is in the crowd, by the way, for people on stream, and he's laughing for once. But we are to... They just keep coming out. I can't stop doing it. I'm sorry.
That's a death stare, that is. That is a death stare.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You better watch your back in the sauna later, man. Remember, the hotel takes no responsibility for murder.
Really? It's all right.
There's a sign on the wall.
Okay. I'd be quite confident going into the sauna sitting next to Idra.
I wouldn't be. Screw that.
So I'm unprofessional. I'm a bad commentator. I'm sorry.
Can we get a recording of that? Can we put it on loop on our YouTube channel? That sounds like a great idea.
So look, the gateway count is climbing up now. 5 more gateways in production. Of course, with the one on the front, will lead up to 6. And he's starting to take all the gases once again. But look at this over here. WhiteRa playing sneaky tactics. Does get a pylon down with a cannon as well.
Oh, it's the standard 8.5 minute cannon rush.
All for DIMAGA. And the unit coming out of that hatchery is a drone, which does see the probe, but he won't be able to do anything against these units yet. And he's going to have to build a lot of roaches to actually deal with this, which he may not be comfortable with.
Hi, this is what happens when you get greedy against WhiteRa, I would say. We're going to put a cannon down, and we're going to throw in 3 zealots. A spine crawler being put up. We'll see if he decides to put down any more cannons. I don't think so at this point. He'll just surround and kill that spine crawler very easily, forcing the cancel. Hey, look, regicide once again. WhiteRa really hates queens. What can I say?
He does. He's going to be able to take this down. Even though there's a lot of Zerglings here, there's also a lot of Zealots here. Going to take all these Zerglings down, and this is going to be in danger. And to be honest, the drone count is quite high at 64, but I'm sure DIMAGA did not want to have to build all these units right now, especially against the WhiteRa, who's playing extremely greedy. There is a secondary pylon up in the main base as well. In that base, sorry. And these Zealots are slowly going to kill all these Lings. Roaches are on the way, though, but without Roach speed, they're not going to get there at all fast.
No, they're not. A couple of Roaches are spawning there, are easily destroyed there by WhiteRa, and I think it's very likely that this fourth will go down at this point. Stopping that is going to be very, very difficult. I have to wonder if DIMAGA will just actually give up on that base instead of using up more and more Zerglings that are just being torn to shreds by these Zealots.
And we do have a Dark Shrine on the way now, as well as Blink. I'm surprised he hasn't actually researched any upgrades from the Forge yet. A little bit of a mistake there from WhiteRa, but he is going into these DTs very, very shortly, and they will be able to basically take down the next 4th base, which DIMAGA has to get up. He's playing against a 3-base WhiteRa.
Yep, and DIMAGA's found out about that cannon. He wasn't too happy about it, and the Zealots coming in from the back. Another queen will be assassinated here by WhiteRa, and now he should be able to finish off the 4th.
Yeah, and he's making a lot of units in the background as well. So we're going to have some DT harassment followed by a strong timing of all these Blink Stalkers coming out as well. He still hasn't researched any upgrades from this Forge, and the robotics facility is about to finish as well. Another gateway being added on into the main base. This hatchery has not quite gone down yet. He should just focus fire it with these 2 Stalkers. But once they get rid of these Roaches, you've got to be careful because there are more units on the way, and down goes that hatchery. Well, it's at 32 HP, so not quite. Should go down now.
I was going to say I was having a little bit of a flashback there, but it's okay. It's been dealt with now. But yeah, I actually kind of like what WhiteRa did there. He was confident that he could take it down, so he killed as many units as possible. He forced as much unit production as possible from DIMAGA, and of course, DIMAGA was not building drones when that is the case.
Look at this. We're actually having the shields upgrade being researched from DIMAGA, so we will be seeing some Archons coming into play shortly. But for now, we are going to see DTs being put into the Warp Prism and actually lifted into the main base of DIMAGA, and there is nothing there. I mean, he does have evolution chambers up, but he's just now building a spire as well. He's not expecting this play to come out from WhiteRa whatsoever.
No, he is not. And perhaps against someone like WhiteRa, he should be expecting something sneaky like that. Not a lot of information that he's got from his opponent. He has no idea of any of the composition of the buildings or tech that is in this natural, and that is risky. An Overseer could, of course, be produced to deal with this, but one has not started yet, so it's going to take some time. And in the meantime, the mineral line could be absolutely decimated.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of damage done here. He could just go straight for the lair if he decides to warp in. That may be something he may be interested in doing, but he's just going to go for the drones, and this is going to be a lot of damage here. Overseers are being morphed in, and the drone line pulled off again. He's doing so much harassment, and DIMAGA knows that he's behind economically, takes 3 bases at once at that north location.
Yep, we've got the Dark Templar now dropping on the natural as some strange Finnish Persian yells in the background. Obviously very excited about the whole affair. We're going to have a queen almost die, but protected by her loyal drone underlings. She survives on a single HP, and DIMAGA is able to throw that one all the way over to the 3rd base, where another queen might be chopped to pieces, but Overseer coverage is looking good. And
this 3-base timing coming out from WhiteRa is going to be so deadly. DIMAGA is building 17 drones at once because of all this, and he really doesn't have that many. It's 26 roaches. He has an Immortal in the mix, and not only does the shield upgrade help Archons and so on if they were decided to be made, they also help the Immortal because of its hardened shell, and we do have more upgrades coming out from double forges right now, and this push going straight towards the 4th base of DIMAGA, or the 4th base location for DIMAGA, and the Warp Prism is in the center of the map. He can use it as a reinforcement point as well. DTs can harass, and all these drones getting knocked down as well. This is not looking good for DIMAGA, and WhiteRa just playing so well in multiple locations.
Yeah, it ain't looking rosy. There's no real doubt about that. 3 Dot Templar available there with the Warp Prism, and greedy play from DIMAGA, trying to take 2 more expansions. One dies, the other is cancelled, so no expansions for you, I am afraid. DIMAGA trying to rally his forces in order to deal with this army, but he doesn't have enough, honestly. He really doesn't.
The Warp Prism at the back of the base as well. Multi-pronged harassment. Warp Prism on the 3rd base of DIMAGA while smashing down these roaches in the center of the map.
Yeah, there was no chance that DIMAGA was going to be able to hold that there. A quick blink eliminates yet another one. More Dark Templar harassment all over the place right here. The Overseer is just looking on, wishing it could hit it.
Yeah, and what this has enabled WhiteRa to do, not just all this economic damage and consistent harassment versus DIMAGA, he's now opened himself up to an incredibly easy 4th base, which has been taken. He's fortifying it immediately with 4 cannons as well. There's going to be no way DIMAGA can keep up economically with WhiteRa right now.
There's a certain scary elegance to WhiteRa's play, a brutal, scary elegance, and this 4th base will be annihilated right now. There's no way you can bring in enough roaches to stop that from happening. Baneling Nest, a little bit of tech as well, just sniped off just for the heck of it. I don't think it's going to be used all that much, honestly, but hey.
And DIMAGA is going to try and hit this 4th base. He knows it can't go, but there's 4 cannons. There's Blink Stalkers here as well with 1/1/1 upgrades. Not sure how well this will go down. He has an Immortal there as well.
Yeah, it's a magical 1/1/1 build right here by WhiteRa, rather unusual for a Protoss player. But yes, the roaches should go down without being able to inflict too much damage. They pick off an Immortal, but here comes the cavalry, and surrounded from all sides.
And WhiteRa is going to crush this army, and he's just going to collect his units once again, and he's just going to charge towards the main base of DIMAGA. DIMAGA down to 122 supply. He has just roaches, 27 roaches, but against these Immortals and even Blink Stalkers microed well, he cannot fight against this without having Hydras in the mix whatsoever. This is going to be incredibly difficult for DIMAGA, but WhiteRa on the verge of winning 2 community show matches in a row.
That would be impressive stuff, what can I say? And he's going to be very, very happy coming off this win if he continues the way that he does. There's a lot of roaches on the way for DIMAGA. It's going to have to be a pretty crazy hold. There aren't all that many sentries there, but there should still be enough to place a few force fields. Guardian Shield going up, a straight brawl between DIMAGA and WhiteRa right here. A little bit of Blink Stalker micromanagement helping out. He charges into the center to try and eliminate the Immortal. He takes 1 down. There's still 2 up, though. The roach count is rapidly depleting, looking really, really nice for WhiteRa as he smashes through the remaining defenses of DIMAGA. So little left right now. A few Zerglings coming in to try and help out, but an aggressive Blink to finish that one off. And at this point, that, as they say, is that. GG, and WhiteRa takes 2 community show matches in a row. He'll be going home with $2,000. What a fantastic performance there from WhiteRa.
WhiteRa doesn't even need to use force fields in that engagement. He doesn't care. He just takes the hits, and congratulations to him. And I got to prepare mentally and physically for my match. Start doing some finger stretches and stuff. Maybe ask Idra for some tips.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. Remember, folks, it will be Apollo versus an admin for the special show match at the end of the ASUS ROG Stars tournament. It's co-cast by WhiteRa. I think
15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, very
No time to
soon
prepare.
indeed. But we're going to be hearing a lot more from WhiteRa, but right now I would like to hear about his victory. So Thomas, over to you.
Thanks. So, WhiteRa, you just won $2,000. How are you feeling?
Not bad.
It's actually a good paycheck for one day.
Yeah, I think so.
So there was an intense game, and you had great War Prism micro. Was it something that you tried now for just once, or is this normal in your practice regime?
You remember before games they ask using today's special tactics? I say of course, and I try game using something special, because if I play standard like yesterday, it's work not so good sometimes. So I try make as much as I can and show my best, and of course using special tactics, and it's really work.
That's great to hear. So you're gonna cast after this the matches between the Apollo, or Dignitas Apollo, and Moody's. Congratulations once again, and we will be right back with the next match. It's gonna start at 4 o'clock, so don't go anywhere. We'll throw some advertisements at you, and we'll be ready after these messages.